Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we have a new palette to review and play with and test out here on my channel. I'm sure you all have already seen this palette all over the internet because I know I surely have. But when I tell you I have been chasing this palette down the past week, I have been chasing it down. I have been waiting for this palette right here. The new Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette to come to Ulta Beauty. I know they got it online on the 16th, but it wasn't in stores until Sunday. And then I saw it was in stock on like Friday, and I was like, okay, maybe they have it out early, and they didn't have it out early. So soon as my local Ulta Beauty opened up on Sunday, I surely was the first one there to get this palette in my hands. I finally have it, and now we get to play with it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So here is the palette right here. This palette retails for $55. It has been a hot minute since ABH came out with a new palette. I feel like we get a new palette probably about like once a year. But when I saw this palette was revealed, I just knew I had to get it because you all know that I have been loving the ABH Primrose palette. I am obsessed with this palette. This is my favorite palette for every single day. It's perfect for the summertime. A lot of the looks you guys have seen me with on my channel in my most recent videos is this palette right here. I love it so much. And I just knew if this formula of this new palette is anything like this Primrose palette, I just know I'm going to absolutely love it. This is an all-in-one palette for instant effortless looks from on the go to ultra glam. So this is a eyeshadow and a pressed pigment palette. It is made in the USA, which is really nice. Let's get into this. So the outside packaging is this nice, cool, green packaging. I love it. It's giving very ethereal feeling just from the packaging alone. And then when you open up the palette, you have this really cool textured palette. I have no idea how to describe this texture, but when I tell you this green and this gold writing and like gold detailing around the palette is so beautiful. I love it. I just love green and gold. Who would have thought this would have been such a gorgeous combination of colors? So when you open up the palette, you get this really beautiful earthy toned goodness. I don't know how to describe this. I know ABH is saying it's like ethereal feeling. We have a pop of purple in the palette. We have one deep shade in here. We have some lighter shades, some nice shimmer greens. This green right here, Hope, is beautiful. It's calling my name. I feel like on camera, it kind of looks a little washed out. So hopefully the overlays that I have for y'all going on the screen kind of give you a gist of the true color of the palette. Before we dive into the eye look, let's go ahead and swatch this palette. Let's get into the goods of this palette. All right, so first off, we have the shade Wings, Isle, Belle, Wisteria, and Lily. A little bit crumbly. I'll just go back over those. Very intense pigment. Next up, we have Hope. So pretty. Paloma. Fleur. Liberty. And Peacock. Last two we have is Metro. And then Muse, which is the deepest shade in the palette. Here is the palette swatched. It is so beautiful. Every shade is so vibrant. All right, so now that you guys have seen the swatches, let's get into the eye look. So I'm gonna zoom y'all in. I literally have no idea what I'm gonna do today. One thing about it is, just from looking at this new palette, I feel like it might be the same formula as the Primrose palette, and the Primrose palette has a ton of fallout. I mean, the pigmentation is there, it's super intense shadows, but there's a lot of fallout. So I do not have anything on my face because I am not trying to fix up my makeup after I use this palette. So I'm gonna use this palette first then I'm gonna do my base makeup. So I have no idea what I wanna do with this palette. I know I wanna start off with this shade right here called Metro. This is a really pretty, ooh, okay. See what I mean? Formula does have a lot of fallout and a lot of kick up in the pan. I am used to that with the Primrose palette, so it's not really a big deal to me, but I do want to just mention that in case this is something that something that bothers you. So I'm just taking this shade as my transition shade. I really want to start off with some kind of shade in my crease, and this one looked like the best. Just to start off, I just want to lay down a foundation, and this shade is blending beautifully. It's so smooth, really pigmented. Like, this is just one layer of this, and looking at it in the pan, you wouldn't think, like, it looks kind of washed out in the pan, but it's really, really not, which really does suck because I don't know why my lighting is like washing everything out. But I'm gonna go in with layer number 2. I'm also just gonna take it over and out because I am gonna kind of do like a sharp, like cut it with my concealer type of thing. So I'm just taking this shade out, and it's gonna be kind of messy, so that is okay. We have a nice smooth transition shade laid down. I want to go ahead and start to add depth to this look. So I'm gonna go into this green shade right here called Liberty. Let me get a new brush and tap into Liberty right here. This is like the only matte green shade in the palette. It kind of looks like I want to say like a seafoamy kind of green. I'm going to take this shade and I'm going to just tap this in the outer corner and start to blend this up and over into the crease, just to start adding a little bit of depth. Now, the deepest shade in this palette is a shimmer, so we might try to incorporate the shimmer somehow. But I do want to go ahead and start to add a little bit of green in this look. So far, this palette is performing really beautifully. This shade is blending into that transition shade very, very nicely. And I love it. It's just giving us some depth. So we're just adding a little bit of depth to this look. I feel like with this palette, the way the colors that are in here, you can only go so deep with this palette, which I'm not mad at. But I just wanted to add a little bit of depth to this. I do wish that there was a deeper green in here. This one builds up nicely, but I just wish that I can go even deeper if I really wanted to. Maybe take out one of these like lighter shades right here, like these two matte lighter shades. We don't need both of those in this palette. I feel like one of them could have been like a really, really deep green or a vibrant green maybe. So we have a little bit of depth going in this look. It still looks really soft. I do want to go into the shimmer matte shade called Muse because I really want to go deeper. This is a shimmer, so I don't really know if this is gonna work, but I just want to place this shade in the outer corner and start to kind of wing it out and then up and over into the crease. So I'm kind of drawing a nice wing. I told y'all I want like a really nice winged out look. I'm just gonna go back into that brush that I first went in with that transition shade Metro. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and I'm just gonna go over the edge of this and just soften it up. That is pretty. Wow. And that shimmer doesn't even really look like a shimmer. It looks beautiful. So if you want to add depth to your look, this is definitely the way to go. I definitely think this look would benefit from a cut crease. I want it to look clean. I don't want to do like just put a shimmer on the lid or anything like that. I really want it to be a nice, precise cut crease. But so far, the shades blend out absolutely beautifully. I'm happy with it. All right, so I finally got my cut crease. It took me a little bit longer than usual. It's been a minute since I did a cut crease. So I just wanted to make sure they were as even as possible. So let's see. I have no idea what shimmer I want to use. I really like the shade Hope. I think it's beautiful. We have Belle right here, which is equally as beautiful. And then we have Wings. But I might do a little bit of These are beautiful. Let's try to use as many as possible. I'm gonna go into this shade Isle right here. It's like a champagne-y shimmer. Ooh, really, really soft, so soft, but I love these shimmers. I'm just gonna place this here in the inner corner just to add a little bit of a gold moment there. That is stunning. And this is without even a wet brush. So that says a lot. That says a lot. Now let's go into the shade Wings, which is this really pretty lighter shimmer green. And I'm gonna place that right next to that first shade we put down so we can have a little bit of a gradient of the greens. And I'm just gonna make sure it's well blended. It might be hard to pick up on camera, but in person, I definitely can see the difference between the shades. And like I said, there's literally no wet brush, nothing wet over here on the eyes. This is just strictly the palette, and it's so beautiful. This look is really, it's coming out beautiful. And then lastly, let's take the shade Hope. Also, I do want to say that I'm using a brush to pick these up, and it looks this intense. So not even using my fingers. Ooh, that shade Peacock is beautiful. So I'm just gonna take Hope and I'm going to place it right next to that green shade I just put down. This shade is beautiful. I just knew that I needed Hope on my lids. So pretty. Now that we have all of these shimmers laid down on the lid, I do want to go back into Muse, which is this deep shade right here. Just one tap is literally all that I need. And then I'm just gonna kind of softly buff that in the outer corner just to have a nice blend of the shades. It's beautiful. Okay, this look, I'm obsessed. I am truly, truly obsessed with this look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then we're gonna come back to finish up the lower lash line, and then I'm gonna share my final thoughts on this new palette. All right, so I went ahead and basically finished up the rest of my makeup. My makeup looks so good today. I literally made sure to pull out quite a bit of ABH products. I feel like I look dewy, and that's literally because I just sprayed my face with the ABH Dewy Setting Spray. And if you want a dewy look, by all means, definitely get this one because you are going to look absolutely dewy. And then also, it's been a while since I used, honestly, and a lot of ABH products. I pulled out this blush right here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Last year when this came out, this used to be my absolute favorite cream blush, especially for everyday. And this is the shade Peach Caramel. It's what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. I think this blush is beyond beautiful. I need to pull this blush out because this literally was my absolute favorite, and wearing it today I was like, oh my gosh, why have I not pulled this out to play with this year? I'm also wearing the ABH Iced Out highlighter. I just felt like since this is like a goldeny greenish highlighter, this would go so perfect with this new ABH palette. Honestly, if this had came out with this palette as a collection, I just think it would have been so perfect. Or if they kind of re-promoted the shade with this palette, it just would have been so perfect because it has like a greenish gold kind of shift to it. It's so pretty. I am wearing the ABH lipstick. This is one of their new lipsticks in the shade Toffee. This is the matte lipstick. This is such a beautiful formula. It's super comfortable. It doesn't dry out the lips to say that it is a matte lipstick. It just feels plush, like a plush lipstick. And I love it. Let's go ahead and finish up the bottom lash line and then get into the final thoughts. So it's gonna be really simple, quick. I could have did this off camera, but like, we're doing the look together, might as well finish it off. So I am gonna go ahead and go into Liberty to start, which is that green shade. Just gonna build this up here. Ooh, this look, I cannot get over how beautiful this look is. And also, if you're curious about anything that I'm wearing on my face, I definitely will have all of the products listed and linked down below in the description. Gonna just go into the shade Metro to kind of blend that out. I'm just gonna take a little tiny bit of Muse because this is definitely gonna deepen up this lower lash line. I definitely was not expecting to get this look from this palette. I love this look. I'm obsessed with it. Just a little bit of Bad Girl Bang mascara on the lower lash to basically just finish off this look. And here is the finished look using the new Abh Nouveau palette. Oh, pretty. Okay, let's get into my final thoughts. Let's get into my final thoughts on this new Abh palette. I am so obsessed with my makeup look today. You have no idea. I'm so mad I'm not filming anything else today because this looks so beautiful. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. The highlighter looks wet. I haven't used this highlighter in a hot minute and oh my gosh, hey, it's not about the highlighter. I'm just obsessed with my makeup look today. Can't you tell? All right, this palette right here. First of all, it is exactly like the Primrose palette. This formula, whatever formula this is that Abh is using, I really, really need more of this. I'm also really happy that they didn't add like 2 blush shades in here because first of all, I love the size of this palette. Comparing the size to their older palettes, I believe it's literally the same size and just a little bit shorter compared to the other one. But I honestly like the formula of this so much more in the packaging and the design so much more. I just feel like it's sleeker, it's slimmer, it's giving luxe. You know, it is more expensive though. Like these older palettes used to be what, 42, then they went up to 45. Now this is 55. This is very expensive, like really, really expensive. Not a fan of the price, to be honest. I did get mine from Ulta, so I did use some Ulta points. So I didn't pay $55 for this, but still, if you don't have Ulta points, $55 is a lot of money. But I will say the formula is so good. It's so freaking good. You know a formula, especially a shimmer formula, you know it's good when you can use a brush and you get intense pigment. You don't feel the need to go in with your finger and get a better pigment out of the shimmer. You don't have to do that with a good formula, and I love this. And even just looking at these shades on camera, you would think they wouldn't work for someone of my skin tone, but that's not the case at all. I feel like it's just so vibrant. They build up so beautifully. I did not have any problems with any of these. My biggest recommendation with this palette and the Primrose, if you have been eyeing this one, is to do your eyes first and then do your base makeup after, because Fallout City is real, but the fallout is just a small price to pay for such a good formula, and I love it. When I tell you, I had a feeling. I was like, okay, this looks kind of like the same vibe of this, and I am obsessed with this palette. So I just knew I had to get this without hesitation. I was like, I need to be first in line. I cannot wait to play with the rest of these shades. I love this palette. I can't wait to play with it. I think this palette also is talc free. There's no talc in this palette as well. I feel like a lot of their palettes don't have, well, most of their palettes don't contain talc, which is nice. And I think this is one of them that don't. And the Primrose one doesn't as well. But I love these palettes. These are really great. I cannot wait to play with the rest of the shades in this palette. But this is the look. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.